They say every prison has its ghosts, but Iron Creek Penitentiary had something worse. Something real, something that didn't belong. It started when I was transferred into D block after a minor scuffle in the yard. My new cell was directly across from 31B, a unit no one spoke about. The door was always closed. No noise ever came from it. But sometimes, in the dead of night, I'd see shadows moving under the door, not pacing, just standing still, watching. I asked my cellmate about it once. He went pale. "That's the ghost cell," he said. "A guy lived there years ago. Quiet, never talked. No one knew his name, not even the guards. One day he just vanished, left everything behind. No records, no release papers, nothing." I laughed, thought it was just another prison legend. Until the night I saw him. The lights had gone out after a storm, total blackout. I woke up to footsteps, not the heavy boots of guards. These were soft, bare, and they stopped. Right outside my cell. I slowly got up and looked out through the tiny slit in the door. Across the hallway, 31B's door was wide open, and someone was standing inside. A man, tall, pale head, tilted like he was listening. His face was wrong. I couldn't describe it. Like my brain refused to recognize it. He turned toward me. Then, suddenly, gone. No sound, no footsteps, just cold air and silence. The next morning, the door to 31B was welded shut. Welded like they were sealing something inside. But no one ever talked about it. Not the guards, not the warden, like it had never happened. But that night, I found a note tucked under my mattress, old paper, faded ink. It said, "I was never here, but you are. Sometimes, when the power flickers, I still hear him waiting, watching, like he's still here. And I'm next to be forgotten." They say escape from Black Ridge Penitentiary is impossible. 20-foot walls, motion sensors, armed towers. And yet, in 1998, inmate number 4479 vanished without a trace. His name was Calvin Knox, a lifer doing time for armed robbery and attempted murder. Not exactly a model citizen, but not the type to disappear like a ghost either. One morning, during routine head count, his bed was empty. Guards assumed he was in the infirmary. He wasn't, and they thought maybe solitary. No. Cameras, blank. Every tape covering his cell and the yard that night was mysteriously corrupted. No one saw him leave. There was no hole, no broken lock, no outside help, just gone. I heard about this from Ray, a lifer who'd been inside since the 80s. He said Calvin wasn't trying to escape in the usual way. He used to dig, Ray whispered, every night, tiny spoon, bit by bit, under the floor of his cell. But when they checked under Calvin's bed, there was no hole, just cold concrete. Ray said that's because he never made it out. Weeks later, during renovations near the recreation yard, construction workers found something, a hidden tunnel, just wide enough for a man to crawl through, about 40 feet long, and at the end of it, a body, face down, skull cracked. No ID, but the clothes matched Calvin's uniform. We thought the mystery was solved. He tried to escape, tunnel collapsed. Tragic but logical, except Calvin's fingerprints didn't match the corpse, and Calvin's cell had never been moved. Still sealed tight, digging. Like someone trying to come up, or worse, trying to pull someone else down style. There's a part of Hollowbrook Correctional Facility that inmates whisper about, but no one dares investigate. They call it the Lost Wing, a hallway that, on maps, doesn't exist, and in real life, doesn't behave the way it should. Found it by accident. I was assigned janitorial duty in the Eastern Block, the old part of the prison. Cracked paint, cold air, you know the type. I was mopping when I noticed a door where there shouldn't be one. Between cell 18 and cell 20, a rusty old door marked 19 except Thea's no. Cell 19 in this wing, I tried the handle, unlocked, and inside was a perfectly intact cell. Fresh sheets, a toothbrush, a cup of water still warm like someone had just left. IT told the guard. He laughed in my face. There's no cell 19. He said there never was. Check the blueprints. I did. He was right. Cell 19 doesn't exist. But that night the door was open again this time. I stepped inside. It was quiet at first. Then the lights flickered. The door slammed shut. I banged, yelled, no one came. Then I heard breathing, not mine, behind. May turned nothing, but now the cell was different. The walls were too wide. The window was gone. The bed was shadows on the ceiling. It made no sense. The space was shifting alive, and then a voice whispered behind me, "This isn't your cell yet." He woke up in the infirmary. They said they found me unconscious near the old janitor's closet. No one had seen cell 19. The hallway where I found it, blocked off by bricks. No door, just wall, but I wasn't hallucinating because in my jumpsuit pocket was a key labeled C19. They say sometimes inmates vanish during transfers, paperwork lost. Nobody notices, but what if they didn't leave the building? What if they just got reassigned to cell 19. Where time bends, walls breathe, and no one ever checks in or out?